It's the 9th of March 2024, and this is your Solana Daily Debrief, a long-form edition. Starting with Crypto Relief, this person owns this ape, one of the best apes in the entire collection, and he's just won a Monolith Custom because he ascended an OG ape V1 to V2, and that was in the first batch of 2070, and so he's won a custom. So now that will be made. Congratulations to him. Next up, Loomhole. I think I pronounced it Loomhole in my shorter video, but I'm a bit tired. And I like this. This is a cool kind of following. I have no idea what the price is like. We'll have a look in a second. If you missed on W, hold this L. Wormhole, W ticker, and Loomhole, L. And this is the Lanifesto. Here's to the L holders, the losers, the exit liquidity, the underdogs, the one who never got an invite to the Cabal group chats. These are the individuals who don't just swim against the current, they're not even in the same river. You can ridicule them, overlook them, mock, or even dismiss them, but ignoring them is not an option because, against all odds, they move things. They're the morons, autists, and bozos who are audacious enough to embrace their outsider status with all its quirks and eccentricities who truly leave a mark. So here's to the L holders, the ones who, in their quest for a place at the table, end up flipping the entire thing over. Steve Lobs. Anyway, this is not me saying buy it or anything like that. I'm just putting it on your radar. They airdrop to some communities. I don't know who's behind it or anything like that. I like it. Let's have a quick look at the price. The reason why I like it is because, I like what Wormhole is. It's a great tool. It's just quite strange how they've done their airdrop, to be honest. Looks like it's, okay, this is the price here. Basically, Wormhole is a product that I've used. I've done a tutorial on, and I'm not trying to come across as airdrop entitlement or anything like that. So I've gone through my wallets and I have a tiny allocation of Wormhole. And if you owned one Mad Lad, then you get like 16,000 or something quite massive. But it doesn't matter if you've never actually used Wormhole. It doesn't matter if you've never helped someone use Wormhole. It doesn't matter about any of that. And I've also made like a tutorial back in 2021 that has like 37,000 views. And I used a tutorial wallet to go in and out. Not with a crazy amount. I'm not sure how much the actual dollar value was. But even that tutorial wallet wasn't eligible. So I don't know. I feel like Wormhole's a bit like, I like it. You can still use it. But JUP basically proved build up a massive community and, give people time, maybe announce something and get people really rallied up around your product. And then all these projects are basically doing systems where they want to like relearn how to make a wheel. Like the wheel has to be round. It cannot be a square. And I feel that's kind of what Wormhole's done. I haven't done a deep dive on it. I'll still cover it, of course. And if you've got a lot of Wormhole tokens, fantastic. And this is clearly not a competitor, but all it is something funny to the people that are not getting any Wormhole. And I like it. And that's all I know thus far. Anyway, the price of Sol, $17 a year ago, now $146. Conviction plays off. Solana fees have been trending upwards for the last 3 days. Good news on this though, this is going to go down significantly. DEX volume surpasses 13 billion, an all-time weekly high. And then this is very, very important. So the cross-chain transfer protocol, CCTP, it will officially launch on Solana mainnet, and this is for USDC. So this basically will allow you to go from other blockchains to other blockchains and just be able to put it natively onto that blockchain without having to go via a particular liquidity pool or anything like that. And those liquidity pools, which I've actually covered in the Wormhole tutorial in 2021, they add a whole lot of friction. It's not an easy process. There could probably be like a seamless kind of UI that could be built. Some bridges have done it in the past, but overall it's just not seamless. But with CCTP, it will definitely make USDC a lot bigger on chain, a lot better than USDT. And as Austin says, it will enable frictionless flows of USDC stablecoins from almost any network to Solana without having to pass through a centralized exchange or rely on token wrapping. Thank you, Austin. WEN coin keeps on going up. It's broken its all-time high. And by the time you watch this video, the voting would have ended for the Genesis vote. But total number of wallets staking JUP, 145,000, and congratulations. So just a reminder, make sure you subscribe to JUP's channel and just stay up to date. They will be the biggest DAO. I'm going to repeat it just because sometimes it's good to be right, to be able to look back on a video and go, I was right. Help them out however you can because the rewards will come back to you. And remember, if you stake your JUP and you go and vote on proposals, then you get rewarded with incentives and you cannot Sybil attack it. Meaning don't go and split up your JUP into 10 different wallets There's no need. Just go and vote for the project that you want to win. And at present, I'm going to vote on Banks. They also have like a bribery system. There are a lot of good projects out there, but I would like to see Banks get in. I'm unsure how they're doing. Let's just quickly check. So remember, this is the vote link. We'll go and connect our wallet, Phantom, and connect. I have 200 JUP just in this one, so I'll just quickly stake that. It's very, very simple. The cutoff time is down here, so you don't have a huge amount of time, but hopefully you can get in. And I'm going to go with Banks. I don't know. We'll see how close they are to taking the lead. This will refresh in a second and you'll be able to see everybody's votes. Okay, so firstly, I've made a mistake. I'm a little bit underslept, but you actually have until the 10th of March. So you've got a whole day to do this. So we've got time. And Banks is in 3rd place. Going to be quite difficult to overtake Sharky. Zeus network is very, very popular. So all good. But at this stage, it looks like it's Zeus and Sharky. But Banks, they could get the win, but we'll see how it goes. Now, nothing against Sharky. I think they're all very, very good products, and Sharky will do very well, I'm sure. But I do like Banks' system because it's less about being a degenerate. However, voters have to vote, and that's how that's decided. So if Banks does not get in, completely fine. But I do hope that they actually use another launch pad and still launch very successfully. Banks could do some more marketing, and it's all about marketing. All you basically want to do in this Web3 world is you want to make a good product, you want to look after your community, and you want to encourage them to look after you and to spread the good word about Web3 and in particular your product. And if you can achieve that, then you will win. Now, Jito is a validating client on Solana, and validator.com, we use this here. So remember, go stake your soul with validator.com. And then basically they have a system where in a group of transactions, they're all contained within this block. And you put all these transactions into the block and you can rearrange them very, very fast to say that this transaction goes before this one. And then at the end of it, maybe someone can do what's called a sandwich attack. So if you go and say, hey, I want to buy this meme coin with 5% slippage, a special bot can see that. They can go and buy up the token very quickly just before in the same block, sell it to you. And then when they sell it to you, they make profit because in the next transaction, they sell it back to USDC or something like that. And it's quite complicated stuff, but it's called sandwiching. Happens on Ethereum and people over there make a decent amount of money, millions of dollars a week. On Solana, it happens and it's probably untapped, but it's one of the reasons why Solana fees have been skyrocketing and why a lot of transactions have been failing. More so, I think, probably with meme coins, but now they're basically suspending that offering. There's still other things that you can do, of course, with Jito, and I'm very, very bullish on Jito. Here's a screenshot from Buffalo that Nox has posted. So they've suspended the meme pool API offered through the Jito block engine, and the Jito Labs team remains extremely dedicated to the long-term success of the Solana network, apps, users, validators, and stakers. But there's still things you can do, but the sandwich attack is something that you can't. Now on to Pith, and in particular, DRiP. I mention this all the time. I know I need to do a very, very decent video. However, at the moment, DRiP has been having a little bit of difficulty getting out the millions of compressed NFTs due to the fact that Solana fees were so damn high and the network's been so busy. I believe they're fixing this and they're working on this kind of all weekend. But Pith network, I'm not saying that you're going to get anything or any Pith tokens or whatever, but it's cool to support these kind of projects. So go and subscribe to them on DRiP and remember to either go and buy some droplets or claim your droplets every day, and those droplets will ensure more DRiPs come into your wallet. Very, very bullish on Pith, and I'm very, very bullish on DRiP. I would say it's underrated, but now it's at 172,000 followers. It's not underrated. I just think it's underrated because they're yet to kind of cross, say, 10 million users, and they will get there before everyone else. Also on Wednesday, March 20th, WEN will have a DRiP launch, I'm assuming, on DRiP. So this is exciting. So exciting. Make sure you sign up for this. Here's a little post from Elements. So you can earn tokens with a 30% boost every time you swap on SuperSwap and accumulate Asset Dash coins and spend on whitelist, pre-sales, giveaways, and more. Just to be very, very clear, very, very transparent, you will need quite a few of these NFTs to actually be able to compete to get the good whitelist spots and pre-sale spots and stuff like that. Like I have a decent amount of these, like 10 or something like that. And still that doesn't even give me too many opportunities. It gives me the occasional opportunity, but still I think it's worth, potentially having at least one NFT and using the DApp for the portfolio tracking. You can log in, see what's going up, and it's really, really cool. And it shows you the point allocations and all that sort of stuff. And it says, get airdrop and point allocations from awesome brands like Pike Finance. You'll have to look at it yourself, or I'll have a look and I'll update you on Monday. But either way, I think Asset Dash is really cool, and I think Elements is cool as well. Also, even cooler news is the fact that Basket has now been added to Asset Dash Rewards program. So as a reminder, if you go and do a swap, there is a 0.65% fee, but you get all these extra little tokens, and you get Basket rewards at present, which I really dig. Now, of course, this is 100 SOL going into 14,600. And if I'm going to be completely honest, like anything that's really, really decent, maybe you want to go straight to Jup. And this goes via Jup, but maybe you want to go straight to jup.ag and not pay any fees. Otherwise, sometimes, for smaller amounts, maybe you do want to go with something like this. You'll pay the fee, but you'll accrue some value. The other thing is Phantom Wallet. If you do an in-app swap in there, it's very, very convenient. And also, if you do a swap inside Phantom Wallet, you'll save some time because you don't have to go to a DAP or anything like that. There is a 0.85% fee. However, it's a fantastic product, and I'm happy to do that with smaller amounts. If it's like $10,000 or something like that, I'm probably not going to go and lose almost 1% on fees. Onto portals. Bonk Inu holders have been added to the upcoming portals airdrop. So we don't know what this is. It's not going to be a token, apparently. Maybe it's the start of a point system. It's not far-fetched to think that. You want more people actually sitting in portals, hanging out, doing stuff. That's completely understandable. And maybe this is the future where people go into portals, they chat alpha, they do Twitter spaces, they do all these things, they roam around, they do little quests, and that's what happens. Either way, portals is good, it's been building, and I hope to see a huge amount of success out of them, and we'll see who gets this cool airdrop. Jupiter's perpetual platform has generated over 30 million in fees since its launch. Remember, 70% of the fees generated go to the JLP pool, so just as a reminder, if you want, just go to Jup and just go and buy some JLP. You then have fee exposure. You also have basically like a kind of a basket of Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, and USDT. In other words, number go up over time. Super Team DAO has put out a cool video on Helium Mobile. These are really cool videos, so I'll link it below so you can check it out. I won't ruin it, just give it a watch. It's 2 minutes, it's really well edited, and I like it. Now with Helium Mobile, $20 a month, and it does everything you need to. My only thing is, if you're a project, do not use Helium Mobile as your two-factor authentication for your actual Twitter. And also, if you're like maybe a famous person, don't do this as well. And personally, do not link a mobile phone number to your Twitter. Use a two-factor authenticator as a second line of defense, just so that people can't SIM swap you and then mess you over. Jussie has put out a thread on IONet, a confirmed airdrop. So I haven't looked into it, so I'll have to do that and then give you more information. But you can see $30 million raise in Series A funding round, and I'm going to follow this person, and I'll link this below. They're building the largest decentralized GPU network. There's a lot of people that are actually working on this, so that's really, really cool. We don't know who's going to win. I'm very, very bullish on gaming, but of course, I need to put anything onto your radar, and if it's decent, you need to give it a go. You can see you can just go and join Discord and then take part in actual things and go from there. As per normal, IONet, if you watch this video, feel free to send me a DM and talk me through your product. I would love to share it more with YouTube. Now this fits the narrative. They have a lot of money in funding, so this should do well if they ship their products, and that's what the expectation is. Now back to airdrops. Projects do not like it when I'm just talking about airdrops all the time. I'm trying to give you value in other ways as well. But as a viewer, most people will like it. It just is the way it is. So Mac from Marginfi, he's talking about his experience with points. I could probably literally go through and put out the ideal situation for point systems, but then we all want to kind of learn from our own mistakes, sadly. We all want to reinvent the wheel, and so very few people would follow my feedback, or at least take it into consideration. Giving exact criteria for the airdrop, announcing it a snapshot in advance is a terrible, terrible idea. I mean, one reason why he's probably saying this is because TVL's just flipped from Marginfi to now TVL in Camino is higher. But look, I think transparency is fine. But yeah, I do agree, like if you kind of start off with something, your organic users get a nice boost at the end. And you mentioned something like, now there's a snapshot. You probably want to have multiple snapshots to keep the liquidity there. The hard thing is, this is what's called a vampire attack. So liquidity goes into one system and then someone will pull it out and put into another one. And so the DApp then fails. It doesn't always fail, of course. Uniswap was vampire attacked by SushiSwap on Ethereum, and Uniswap still, did very, very well. But a huge amount of liquidity did move to SushiSwap. Anyway, using a token and airdrop as your main focus with marketing attracts the wrong users. Yes, correct. But at the same time, it just attracts more users. If you can then find a way to keep them there and make it sticky, then you're going to win. And user quality is still important. Of course it is. Anyway, these are his thoughts. I've never spoken to him. I still use the DApp. Anyway, these are Mac's views on Marginfi. You may agree or disagree. Personally, he's got his biases, and I don't necessarily agree with him, but he has some valid points. As I mentioned, Camino now has more TVL than Marginfi. Y2 Kappa from the Camino team has given some views on Camino. I'm going to give my views briefly as well, but basically, they don't want to starve off genuine users by Sibyllas. So they'll be able to see, all the on-chain data of how many people have really, really small accounts. And long story short, they're just going to give a point to, everyone that's providing a point worth of service. And then if you have 1 million points or 100 million points, there's no tier system. So 1 million points will get a certain amount of tokens, and 100 million points will get 100 times that amount of tokens. Now, one thing I would say is they may have chatted with other teams. They have done well, like Parcel's doing very, very well. They've done it very, very intelligently. But sometimes I feel people want to reinvent the wheel, and I can't say this for sure because I haven't spoken to them. I'd like to do a voice chat and find out what their kind of thought process was. But this thing is, the OG people were rewarded with a 2x. And I don't think that's really good, because someone can come in with 500 SOL for a couple of weeks and they can earn more than, say, what I did. I have like 1.5 million points. When I've taken on all the risk, I've gone and used USDH, which depegged, the pools stopped working, the impairment loss was crazy, plenty of issues that I've personally experienced. And this is a good product, a very good product. But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, you've done all these things. Fantastic. Thanks for your help. Hey, here's your little small boost. So I do hope they reward loyalty a bit better than a 2x, because at the moment I can completely understand. And the reality is people will probably just move away from Camino. They need to create a reason to have like the JUP kind of community, like people really passionate to push this DApp to just where everyone's like, wow, this is amazing. And this is where I think people get a little bit scared, because the team, they want to extract as much value as they can for themselves. But in Web3, if you extract, and I'm not referring to Camino, I'm referring to anyone, if you extract all the value and then you don't give it back, then what happens? You just kind of lose your community. Anyway, we won't go over all these other things. Dilution is the biggest thing. My main thing is the fact that, we'll see if I got a reply. I don't think I did. Basically, they said there will be a referral system coming soon, and then they never did. So I've spent a huge amount of time, educating people, showing people how to use the DApp, DMs, all sorts of things. And there's no way for the team to say, congratulations, you've hustled. Here is some extra points for you. As we can see, coming soon, it's still coming soon. Now, Gumshoe's gone ahead and he's gone and worked out basically what this could be calculated with in terms of the value. So imagine you have 10 million points, which would be quite a sizable amount, but pretty easy to get there if you've got a little bit of a stack, and do a little bit of multiplication, and a 1 billion fully diluted valuation, you get a price per token of 10 cents, which gives you $5,882. Now you can go and actually trade these points already on Whales Market if you like, but that's currently what he's kind of valuing these points at present. Next up, DBridge. So DBridge points, and they're retroactive as well. So if you've used this in the past, fantastic. Otherwise, now people are just going to go in, they're going to start just moving funds from chain to chain to chain to chain, hundreds of transactions, lots and lots of different wallets, and they'll see how they go. And Y2 Kappa said, make it tiered. Joke, maybe, I don't know. Either way, DBridge, you may want to go and use this DApp. And Legolas has a thread on how to get a whole lot of Pike Finance's juicy PIU. So I'm just going to link this below. There's a few things you may do well, you may not do well, and I'll need to do a bit of a deep dive into Pike Finance myself. But in a nutshell, borrow, lend, leverage, and earn across any chain, access liquidity from across all of DeFi natively. Now that's almost everything for today. Now just a quick little bit of a tip in terms of Never put your seed phrase into any website whatsoever. I was chatting with someone that did this yesterday, and basically if you go into a support network like Drift or anywhere like that, if they don't reply to a ticket very fast, or if you jump into support, someone will often pretend to be support and will DM you, and then if they're clever enough, they will be able to scam you. So basically be very, very wary of DMs and don't reply to them. But also, if you ever see a website, anything like this, where it basically has anything like this where you can go and do this. I mean, it's done so poorly. To me, it's done so poorly, but it will be able to scam a whole lot of people. So we'll do something like this. By the way, I'm opening this not on my main computer, but in a virtual machine. It then wants you to put in a phrase or a keystone or a private key. You never do this ever. The project will never ask you for this. No one will ever ask you for this. So do not put your seed phrase or private key in at any stage. These websites are scams, and once they get blocked, they'll open a new one and they'll keep on going. That's all for today. Go farm some points. Stay curious. Catch you in the next video.